Queen Elizabeth's dark truth. Imagine this. You're a foreign ambassador in the 1590s, summoned to meet the most powerful woman in Europe. You enter her magnificent hall, sunlight streaming through stained glass windows, illuminating a figure adorned in pearls and silk. She turns to you, imposing and commanding. Then she speaks, and her scent hits you like a physical blow. Your eyes water. You fight the urge to vomit. This is not the scent of power. It is the scent of decay. Welcome to Queen Elizabeth I's court, where beneath layers of perfume, powder, and propaganda, the Virgin Queen was slowly rotting alive. History remembers Elizabeth as Gloriana, the golden monarch who defeated the Spanish Armada and launched England's cultural renaissance. But what if I told you this icon of elegance hadn't bathed properly in months? That her teeth were black and rotten, her breath sharp, masking the decay behind her glorious appearance? That she was literally poisoned by the cosmetics she used? Today we lift the gilded curtain on one of history's most carefully constructed illusions. This is the story of a queen so obsessed with her image that she chose vanity over hygiene, power over health, and the myth of immortality over the reality of her own decaying body. What you are about to discover will forever alter your perspective on England's golden age. Elizabeth's decline did not begin with old age. It began at a young age with something as innocent as sugar. In the 16th century, refined sugar was more valuable than gold, kept locked in chests and counted like precious jewels. The palace became famous for its elaborate sugar sculptures. Every bite was a declaration of wealth and power, but there was a price to pay. The queen used a sweetened paste made from sugar and herbs to clean her teeth. This practice accelerated decay rather than preventing it. A Spanish ambassador wrote home, "A brilliant, commanding royal court, but I must confess her mouth resembles a small graveyard." The decay didn't just affect her appearance. Her speech was impaired. When a doctor suggested removing a decayed tooth, she demanded he first remove his own to prove the procedure was bearable. He did so, screaming and running away in front of everyone at the palace. Elizabeth watched, smiled, and walked away, still clutching her jaw in pain. The noblewomen at her court began deliberately blackening their own teeth with soot and coal, turning decay into a fashion statement. Now let's talk about something we take for granted today: washing. For Elizabeth, water was not a cleanser, it was dangerous. In an age when England's rivers served as sewers and medical theory bordered on superstition, his fear was not entirely unfounded. Doctors warned that washing opened the pores, allowing deadly miasmas to enter the bloodstream and spread disease. They claimed that hot water weakened the body and invited infection. Stop and think about this. Imagine going weeks, sometimes months, without properly washing your body. Now imagine doing this while wearing 6 layers of heavy clothing, sitting in unventilated rooms lit by smoking candles, attending hours of court events. The reality behind Elizabeth's carefully guarded image was far removed from the fairy tale we were told. She didn't avoid bathing out of laziness. She avoided water because it threatened to destroy the perfect image she had spent years building. If you've read this far, you're beginning to understand that Elizabeth's relationship with her appearance went far beyond vanity. It was a political battle waged on the battlefield of her own body, most clearly evident in her makeup routine. In an era when pale skin was worshipped as a sign of nobility and divine favor, Elizabeth embraced cosmetics as both a shield and a weapon. Her preferred makeup was Venetian ceruse, a mixture of white lead and vinegar. It created the illusion of flawless porcelain skin. At the same time, it slowly destroyed her face. By her 50s, her skin was so damaged that touching it risked crumbling it away. Foreign visitors described her face as resembling a wax figure, rigid and unnatural. She refused to be painted in natural light. Portrait artists were given rigid templates, required to reuse idealized features from previous paintings. The aging queen you see in museums? Pure propaganda. The real Elizabeth was hidden behind layers of lead and mercury, literally a living death mask. She understood the danger, but she did not back down. Her doctors warned her again and again. But she also understood power. Her face was not just hers, it was England's. Showing weakness, revealing the decay beneath, would invite rivals, rebellion, and chaos. So she chose poison. Behind the gilded ceilings and beautiful tapestries of Elizabeth's palaces lay an uncomfortable reality. There was no plumbing. Despite all her grandeur, the Queen of England lived in conditions that would horrify any modern person. This was the reality of the Golden Age. Perfumes masked the decay, velvet hid the necessities, and the most powerful woman in the world lived side by side with the inevitable smell of humanity. Elizabeth reigned for 45 years, but in her final weeks, the woman once revered as semi-divine was literally falling apart. Those around her described an eerie silence. The Queen no longer joked or schemed. She sat motionless, staring blankly, refusing food, water, and sleep. Death came on March 16th, 1603, but it brought with it an unexpected horror. Her body began to decay rapidly. Her weakened system, poisoned by decades of lead, mercury, and toxic cosmetics, had become a slow-burning chemical disaster. With death, the destruction accelerated. The stench was immediate. Despite layers of perfume and oil, nothing could stop it. Dark fluid oozed from her nose. Her neck swelled. Her fingers curled like withered leaves. Servants burned aromatic herbs, filled the room with roses, and placed a bowl of vinegar at the foot of her bed. Nothing worked. Doctors later examining her remains noted abnormal swelling, chemical burns on her body, a pitch-black liver, porous bones, and lungs filled with sediment from years of inhaling toxic cosmetics. No royal had ever decayed so quickly, yet her image persisted. Portraits still depicted her as radiant, immortal, with pale skin and a smile. See you in the next video.